All right, what's up, guys? So this is going to be the second part. Let's go ahead and try and do this as much as possible. So the graph shows the line of an x-intercept. Guys, x-intercept, that's whenever this slope touches the x-axis. And if you notice, this touches here, here, and here. Which one touches at 2, 0? The one in the middle. Easy as that. Let's continue. Make sure I erase all this. Here we go. Next question. Now, this one. Two things you need to remember. The inequality. You have greater than, you have less than. You have greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Whenever you see greater than, you're thinking of a dashed line. Whenever you see equals to, solid line. Since it is not a solid, you eliminate B, eliminate C. You're left with A and D. Now, in this problem, you notice is not y by itself. You need to get rid of this negative number. So you divide by -3, but here's the thing. You don't even have to solve it. Notice you divided by a negative. That means that inequality flips. It becomes less than. And if you look at your notes from earlier when I told you what less than is, less than, that means you're shading below. Since you are shading below, D's your answer. And you're done. Like I said, you just need to know that greater than, less than, dashed line. Greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, solid line. You divide by a negative, flip the inequality. Next one. This question right here. Easy, but this is where you got to be careful. So whenever you're doing this question, you have this half that's being distributed to everything on the inside. This turns into 25 raised to the half. And now, since you're multiplying 6 to a half, guys, what's half of 6? That's 3. What's half of 12? That is 6. You can eliminate C, you can eliminate B. You're left with A and D. Now, 25 to the half, guys, calculator. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure you have your calculator. Use it. So how do you get 25 to the half? You're going to put 25 raised to the power of 1 divided by 2. Press enter. The answer is 5. So my final answer is 5, x to the third, y to the 6th, D. All right, next part. Go ahead and minimize this. Guys, function, x never repeats. So since x never repeats, look at the arrows. Look at where they're pointing. If you see one of the x's have more than one arrow, it is immediately wrong. Notice the 0 has 2 of them, incorrect. B, each one goes to a certain y value. That's perfect. Now, if we look at C, 9 has 2. That's gone. The answer is B. X never repeats. It's always labeled X, Y, X, Y, X, Y. Always. Go ahead and continue. The answer is B, obviously, right? Next one. Guys, they're asking you for the x-intercept. Since they're asking for the x-intercept, look at the graph they give you. Whenever you're looking at the graph, notice it's not touching the x-axis. Because it's not, you have to continue it. So look at the 2 points they gave you. Because they gave you 2 points, you get to figure out what the slope is. So we can know if you're either going to go down or you're going to go up. In this case, you're reading this from left to right. It is a negative slope. So you're going to go down. So rise over run. From here, you go down 1, 2, right? So you went down 2, and then let's see how much it runs. 1, 2, 3. That's your slope, -2 over 3. So if you continue this, it goes down 1, 2. And then you run 1, 2, 3. Here is my x-intercept. My x-intercept is 5, 0. How would you write your answer? Just 5. All right, let's go ahead and go on to the next one. Next question. Now, guys, a table. I cannot stress this enough, guys. Whenever you have the table, calculator. Let the whole calculator do it for you. So whenever you have a table, go to Stat, See how you see edit, press enter. And if you notice, L1 is all your X values, L2 is all your Y values. Once you plug them in, see how I have 8, 18, 28, 10, 50, 0. Press stat, right arrow, number 4. Press enter 5 times. And remember, you only focus on the A and the B, right? So my A is 5, my B is 140. So Y equals negative 5X plus 140. If you notice, there's only two that have 140, A and B is gone. Now, if you look carefully at your answer choices for C and D, it's not written in slope-intercept form. You only need to move the x's to the other side. So how do you move a positive 5? That becomes a negative 5, and if you notice, that's what you want. Your answer is C. If you look at D, you move a negative 5 over here, that's a positive 5, and that is not a positive 5. So let's continue. This question, it says Jabri buys a Starbucks drinks for $4.50 each, so that's my slope. He has a maximum of $45 to spend on those drinks for his rents. The total cost with respect to drinks purchased can be modeled by a function which statement correctly defines the domain of the function. So domain is your x values. That's what you need to remember. So domain is x. Now, you want to know how many drinks he can purchase because that's the maximum. He has $45. That means he can buy those drinks with 45, but he cannot exceed it. So we need to figure out how many drinks he has. So what you're going to do is 45 divided by $4.50. If you do that, you get the answer of 10. So 10 is the maximum drinks he can buy. Your answer is B. That's it. He cannot buy 11. He can buy 9, but the maximum is 10. Go ahead and continue. All right, this problem, real easy. So this is a direct variation. So the question says y varies directly with x, so y over x. So if x is 4 when y is 8, so 8 over 4 equals, what is the value when x is 35? You notice x is at the bottom, and then you cross multiply. So this is where you need to solve it. So 8 times 35 is 280, and then x up here. My fault. I mean y up. Wait. Yes. My fault. I forgot to write that in, and I noticed I made such an error because even I told you guys. Y over x, right? So if x is 4, y is 8, what is the value of x when y is 35? So 35 is up here. My apologies. And then we're solving for x. So cross multiply, 8x equals 140. Then 140 divided by 8 gives you x equals 17.5. And the first thing you're going to say, Mister, that's not even written up here. It's not A, it's not B, but you have these fractions right here. Simplify the answer choices. 35 divided by 2 is actually 17.5. Answer. All right, next question. Now, this one here is a shortcut because if you waste your time on this question, you're not going to have enough time. Use the calculator to your advantage. So what do I mean by it? These tables reflect these questions down here. Look at A, B, and C. The top one, I'm going to say C. So the top one goes with the top table. The bottom one goes with the bottom table. All you need is just a point. So I'm going to use 1 and 7 for the top. So if X is 1, and then it says minus my y being 7. So let's see what that gives me. If it's the correct answer, it should give me -6, and it gives me -6. That is correct. Now let's check the bottom one. The bottom one, you're plugging in the bottoms, right? So if x has to be 1, y is 10. So parentheses 1, it's actually 5, my fault. 5 parentheses 1, close it, plus my y is 10. Press enter and you get 15, and it is indeed 15. That is the shortcut. Use the answer choices to your advantage. That's how you're going to answer these questions quick. Just plug in the numbers. The top table goes with the first one. The bottom table goes with the bottom. Plug in those numbers. If you get this as the outcome, that's your answer. Let's go ahead and continue. Now, this one, guys. It says function A has an equation of 3y equals 9x plus 4. The graph of function B is shown below. What is the function? It has a larger rate of change. So you want to know which one's bigger. So in this case, function A, you notice, is not set to y equals. You need to get rid of the 3. So everything is divided by 3. This cancels. 9 divided by 3, that turns into 3x. 4 divided by 3, leave it as an improper fraction. So we have A, and now let's find out what B is. So right here, pick 2 points. Here's 1, here's 2, and then rise over run. You rise 1, 2, and you run 1. So my slope is 2 over 1. 2 divided by 2 is 2. So y equals 2x. My y-intercept is 4. But we don't care about the y-intercepts. We care for rate of change. Rate of change, guys, is slope, and you should know that. So look at which one. Which one's bigger, guys? A or B? You're going to say, Mr. 3 is bigger than 2. So the function of A, that's bigger, with the rate of change of 3, is your answer. And that's it. All right, next question. This one, guys, real easy. They say, where does the line 11x plus 5y equals 4? Guys, they want you to find where they touch the x-axis, y-axis. So I want to find out what my y is, because if you notice, they're all different numbers. So let's find out what my y is. So that means you got to make x into 0. So 11 parentheses 0 plus 5y equals 4. 11 times 0 is 0 plus 5y equals 4. This technically, you don't even need it. So 5y equals 4, you divide by 5, cancels, y equals 4 over 5, a. Make sure you copy this. Make sure you copy that. And last one. Well, actually, this is a multiplying. So box method, guys. For this one, make the box. This turns into 5x. This is 3. This is 8x. This is minus 2, because they're asking you for the area. That means you multiply both sides. 5 times 8, that is 40x squared. This times that is negative 10x. 3 times 8, that's 24x. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Combine like terms. This is 40x squared. 24 minus 10, that's plus 14x. Minus 6, this is your answer. Set up the box method, and you're good. Now, last one, guys, last one. Here we go. Guys, whenever you have a number on the outside, distribute it. This becomes done, done, done. And to the 3. 3 squared, x, 3 times 2, that's 6. Negative 5 times 2, that becomes negative 10. 6 times 2, that becomes 12. Divided by the bottom, it stays the same. 9x squared, y to the third, z to the negative 6. From here, we got to convert it. We know what 3 squared is. 3 times 3, that becomes 9. Remember, rule number 1, you cannot have negative exponents. The negatives, if they're negative on top, send it to the bottom. If they're negative at the bottom, send it to the top. So 9x to the 6. Here's the negative. You send it to the bottom. So you have z to the 12. And then at the bottom, you have 9x squared, y to the third, that's positive. Then if you notice, you send that y to the bottom, that becomes y to the 10. And then you have a negative at the bottom, send it to the top, become positive. This becomes z to the 6, combine like terms. 9x to the 6, z to the 12. Actually, you combine these, z to the 18th over 9x squared, y to the 13. 9 divided by 9, they cancel out, is just 1. X and x, that becomes x to the 4th. Z, there's no other z, you leave it alone. And the last one, y to the 13, because there's nothing else. And finish. Make sure you guys give me a like, subscribe. I'm trying to be YouTube famous. Appreciate you guys. You have questions? Let me